So Bitcoin is seemingly stuck at about $90,000. Trump is making even more moves that are affecting the market. And we have some interesting information about people holding Bitcoin that you might not been aware of already. Now, guys, is the market that bad? My question to you, let me know in the comment section. Do you think that $90,000 is honestly that bad? Because in my opinion, I think the liquidity just hasn't come yet. So it's tight right now, but we're having a slow grind higher. This isn't necessarily bad, right? Also, $90,000 is a massive psychological level. Institutions right now, in my belief, are accumulating and they don't want a massive rally to happen because then they would have to buy Bitcoin at higher prices. There is also no mania. All right, no retail. Nobody cares. While the market waits for confirmation, I am positioning myself carefully for the next move. So that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. But
This video is based solely on my opinion and what I'm personally doing in this market. I want to also let you know that some of the links below are affiliate links, meaning I may earn a commission, but this will be at no extra cost to you.
And please remember, guys, under no circumstances will I ever contact you and ask you for investments. You can confirm all of my real social media handles in the description.
This content is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy sitting in his room.
First of all, we had this big push to the upside. We made a new higher high just about. Then we came down to retest this region of support. We have wicked below it twice, but we do seem to be holding up very nicely in a higher low structure. So really all eyes right now on about 86,000 to hold to continue this uptrend that we are clearly in after breaking this wedge pattern. Now, a lot of people are very bearish on the market, and not only bearish, but non-existent, right? Most people have left. They gave up on Bitcoin when it went down a bit. And this is fundamentally the mistake that everyone in this market makes. Now, whether or not we're going into a bear market, we're already in a bear market, or this is just a pullback on an otherwise bull market, none of it really matters depending on your outlook, all right? It's important to realize that I am a long-term investor and holder of Bitcoin and crypto. If we go into a bear market from here, I will use it as an opportunity to accumulate. The people who accumulated Bitcoin on every situation like we're in right now, whether it's in the middle of a bull market like we see here, or at the beginning of a bear market like we saw here, or at the very bottom of a bear market like we saw here, every time in history that I and other people like me have accumulated in these moments has been amazing. The best buying opportunities ever come when everyone else is scared. And I know you guys have heard this a million times before, and you might think that I'm naive. Maybe I am naive, but this exact thesis has made me enough money to retire at this age, right? So that's why I'm so adamant that this is the way it works for me. Now, I'm not telling you guys what to do right now. Please do not blindly follow me. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but this is what has worked time in and time out. And it would be crazy for me not to apply exactly what I've done in the past that worked. Why would I change because everyone else is telling me that this market is dead, that Bitcoin is dead, that crypto is dead, that it didn't work out, that the governments don't care and nothing's happened and there's been no liquidity, when I can see plain as day that Bitcoin has rallied significantly in the last 3 years. Altcoins, the larger caps that institutions are focusing on, have also rallied and have also held up until this point. I'm talking the likes of Solana from $18 to where it sits right now, $130. For XRP, it was 50 cents in the bear market. It's now $2, right? Whatever else you can think of. There aren't many of these large caps, but that's why now my thesis is a little bit different to what it was at the end of the last bull market here, and during the bear market, and during this bull market, and the 2024 pump where I was still playing with meme coins. Don't get me wrong, I'll still play with the small caps if we get liquidity injections. But right now, my emphasis is more than ever on accumulating the institutional coins, let's call them, right? So we're talking Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, potentially Dogecoin, the coins that have ETFs. I believe that the big flow of money, the next run or the long-term liquidity for crypto is going to come from an ETF style move in the crypto market, where you know how much excitement there was around MicroStrategy being included in the S&P 500. I believe something similar will happen for Bitcoin and altcoins. There will be a basket of stocks in the form of an ETF that people will automatically invest into. That's what I believe will happen. And that's what I think and why I'm so still bullish on things like the larger cap altcoins that people are actually paying attention to. The size goes large for the most conviction, for example, Bitcoin, and then smaller as the lower conviction comes in, but the risk reward increases, meaning I might put 50% of my portfolio into Bitcoin and only 10% or 5% of my portfolio into XRP or Solana, let's say, but those have a higher chance of doing longer term big moves. Or not a higher chance of doing longer term big moves, I should say, a higher chance of doing larger percentage moves than Bitcoin. Then I'll use those larger percentage moves to move that cash into Bitcoin. All right. And I know that just sounds a bit boring, but that is the thing that's made me the most amount of money. So that's why I'm doing it. And I think that Bitcoin one day could be $1 million. So from here, it's over a 10x in the next 10 years. That's significantly more than anything else in that we have that's relatively lower risk. Of course, Bitcoin is significantly higher risk than S&P 500. S&P 500 is probably significantly higher risk than, a precious metal, let's say, or a property maybe. But slow and controlled moves to the upside is what we want. And that's exactly what Bitcoin has shown me. Now, how do I make even more money with my strategy? Well, I do the low leverage plays, longer term swings, which you can see are still in profit. And then I have right now, really, I'm just trading Dogecoin because it works, right? This is my strategy and it's been working. I buy on a pullback, I sell on a push to the upside. Buy on a pullback, sell on a push to the upside. Buy on a pullback, sell on a push to the upside. Buy on a pullback, sell on a push to the upside. I think this one didn't push up enough for me to take any profit, so I ended up closing, moving the stop loss into break even, that getting stopped out until I opened here and then took profits in the push to the upside. Right now, I'm waiting for a nice opportunity to re-enter. It could be a nice pullback entry soon, maybe around the 14-cent mark, and then putting a stop loss just below here. But remember, if a liquidity grab came in, you'd get liquidated. So maybe just below here, for example. Depends on the risk to reward. I'm still waiting patiently to see where I'll enter here. But remember, guys, if you do want to trade, there's an opportunity right now. If you use the affiliate link below this video, you're going to instantly get VIP1 to use Blowfin as a VIP for the first month. If you like it, if you deposit and you trade, you can continue that VIP status by doing those things, right? There's also $9,400 of real USDT rewards that you get from depositing, for example, and trading volume, for example. So if you're already trading Blowfin, I've been trading on for years now. It works really well for me. And you know that I have a number of exchanges that I like to trade on. This mitigates my risk. It spreads out opportunity. I get more access. And of course, we never know what might happen. So I think it's good to have a bunch of these exchanges at our fingertips. And also, guys, if you join the Blowfin group, you also will get the Blowfin research group. When there we have a trader in here that is posting very different style trades to me, right? This is very different. Swing trades, higher leverage, in and out, exact take profits, and people really like this sort of stuff. You also, on the flip side, get access to what I'm doing. So I think it's great to have a diverse array of what's happening in the market. You can see the group wins here with people posting the different things that they, different wins that they get, if it would ever load. I have super fast internet, but it never loads. But you can see here, there's even shorts happening in the group. We got longs happening in the group. So if you want to check this out, here is the December results, the daily performance of the trader in here. And you guys can get access to this for totally free. All you have to do, sign up to Blowfin and then deposit and trade on the exchange. Now, who else is bullish, right, on the market like Tom Lee? Tom Lee says we're still going to 180,000 in the next 21 days. Let me know what you think about that down there in the comment section. Obviously, what we've discussed here on the channel, Tom Lee tends to be right with his price, but wrong with his timing. I see no issue with that because I myself understand that Tom Lee is also just another human being, which is, it's wild to me because people get angry at him for example, calling for 100K Bitcoin, but being 2 years too early. How is that a bad thing? He doesn't have a crystal ball. He doesn't owe anyone anything, and he doesn't have a crystal ball. So him calling for 100K, I think it was in like 2022, is like, it's going to go to 100K in 2023. And it went to 100K in 2025. Who cares about 2 years when you could have bought when he said and literally made, what, like a 10X? Why would we not want to do that? Anyway, I don't understand, but that's what Tom Lee's saying. Also, we got the CEO of Apple holding Bitcoin. I think this is an important thing to understand, guys. These are some of the richest, most, let's call them intelligent maybe, or I don't know, world-changing people, and they hold Bitcoin. No, they don't hold 100% of their net worth in Bitcoin. Absolutely not. It's probably 0.1%, maybe even less than that. But the important thing is they are exposed to Bitcoin. These people who run the biggest companies in the world, this guy, Elon Musk, the president, they hold Bitcoin. Right. So even in the pullback, even in turmoil, if you have a mindset like I do with the S&P 500, or I do with Bitcoin, or I do with real estate, there is always going to be these times where the pullbacks happen. There is always going to be fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There is always going to be market corrections and bear markets. But if Bitcoin, like I think it's going to, where there's no guarantee if I'm right or wrong, I could be completely wrong here. If Bitcoin becomes like the stock market, like real estate, like gold, silver, bronze, or whatever, and then we have the digital assets. If that is the new world, right? The new world of investing, we've added in digital assets. I just want to accumulate it slowly over time, monthly income into my investments, right? One of my biggest mistakes in my life that I believe I've done is I spent 10 years working and saving, zero investing, working, saving, working, saving, working, saving. If I had have just put that money, right, the money that I was saving into the S&P 500, into gold, into Bitcoin, obviously, Bitcoin is the one where everyone's like, you would have made 10 bajillion, manillion, yeah, I wouldn't have ever held it that long if I didn't know what I was doing, right? But if I had have just invested it into long-term assets rather than just saving it, I would have made so much more money. So my point is even the biggest people in the world are adding Bitcoin as part of their portfolios. So would I not do something similar? That's my question. Let me know in the comment section. The US stock market is also rocketing, and according to Crypto Rover, once Bitcoin cashes up, it will be huge. I actually still see no reason why Bitcoin won't catch up. The reason why Bitcoin isn't super rocket ship fuel right now is because it's down. And that's the market psychology, right? If Bitcoin stayed up and we didn't have the October 10th liquidation event, which was maybe or maybe not a manipulation event, if we didn't have that, I actually think it would be doing really well right now because there is liquidity. But the liquidity isn't looking for things that are collapsing, it's looking for things that are rocketing. People are buying gold like never before, buying silver like never before. And this may buying here might be an amazing trade. Maybe gold does go up another 50% from here. Sorry, silver, maybe it does. Maybe gold does. I don't know. But for me, I don't like to buy charts like this because let's take a look at the history of silver. Every time it's rallied, it's had a pullback, rally, pullback, rally, pullback. And you can see through the history, the rallies and the pullbacks, right? It is steadily slow and to the right. People are bored by slow and to the right when it comes to silver, but you can see from there to there, right? Buying silver 5 years ago, from that scary period of time to now, is a 587% move. However, silver essentially did nothing for 1,713 days. So the contrarians who are contrarian against this long-term investing thesis would say, well, silver does nothing because all of this time, all it did was go down and sideways, right? For 1,700 days. But if you had just bought when everyone was scared and then just held, or simply dollar cost averaged over this period, your average price would be about there. And then guess what? Today you sit on 269% gains by doing nothing but dollar cost averaging over the last 5 years. And my point is, that's why I'm doing exactly the same thing with Bitcoin, and the price action for Bitcoin being down right now doesn't bother me because there's always going to be people in the comment section who go from the high to right now, we're only up 34%, 32%, right? So Bitcoin has, in that term, done absolutely nothing for 1,516 days. Doesn't that sound eerily similar to what we just discussed with silver? And this is how I keep myself sane. Yes, Bitcoin may drop from 90. It may do the same thing it's done in the history. Let's say it gets a 70% drop and it goes to $37,000. Every time in history when Bitcoin has done that, it's had a mega rally afterwards. So my question is why would this time be any different when the market is so much more bullish than it's ever been before? And the same can be said for every time silver had a massive pullback, it eventually had a huge rally. Every time gold has a massive pullback, it eventually had a massive rally. Every time the S&P 500 has a massive pullback. Just this last year, right? You had a massive tariff crash. It had a massive rally afterwards. So the question is do you think Bitcoin is cut from the same cloth as the S&P 500, real estate, gold, silver, and that? If the answer is yes, then I believe my best course of action, because my answer is yes, is to have exposure to Bitcoin. Slow and controlled accumulation of the assets I believe in. The higher conviction, the more percentage of my monthly income goes into that. And in the short term, using my skills that I've accumulated over the last 8 years as a short-term trader to generate more cash flow, to generate more dollars, to generate more investments into what I believe for the long term, to make myself financially free over the long term. And guys, I've been rambling a lot today, but this has been an exciting conversation. I don't know why. I feel really good about it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I am, again, not here to tell you that Bitcoin is going to rally to all-time highs. Altcoin season is coming next week. No. I believe that Bitcoin will one day make a new all-time high. We will have an altcoin season. That altcoin season will not be what everyone is expecting, but it will come. And because of that, I want to be here and I don't want to give up, because the number one basically guarantee that I've seen in this market that you will lose is by giving up when the price goes down and being excited when the price goes up. So I'll leave you with that. Let me know what you think in the comment section, guys. And remember, if you do want to come and be part of the completely free Blowfin group, you see the monthly results, come and check them out for yourself. You get access to this group with our macro updates. We got researchers in here. We got traders. We got customer support directly with Blowfin. We got a ton of stuff here, guys. And you get it all for free. All you have to do is sign up to Blowfin, and then you can get up to 9,400 USDT in rewards by depositing, by trading, and of course, trying out VIP1 for yourself using the affiliate link in the description. Of course, remember, always do your own research. And guys, hopefully you have a good weekend. Hopefully we start to pump soon. It'd be lovely. But either way, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.